Welcome back to our channel World of Coins, the place where we uncover hidden treasures in your coin collection. Have you ever wondered if that old coins could be worth thousands or even millions? Well, today's your lucky day. We're diving into some of the rarest and most valuable U.S. coins that might be sitting right under your nose. Let's jump in and see if you've got a fortune waiting to be discovered. Top 1. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most intriguing and valuable coins in American numismatic history, the 1965 Washington quarter dollar. If you've ever wondered what makes certain coins so rare and valuable, or if you're lucky enough to come across one, this video is going to be both educational and exciting. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Its design featured the iconic image of George Washington on the obverse, and an eagle on the reverse. However, we're not talking about any regular Washington quarter today, we're focusing on the 1965 version, which holds significant value among collectors. In 1965, the United States faced a silver shortage. Due to rising silver prices, the government made a major change to the composition of certain coins. The half dollar, quarter, and dime were all produced with a reduced amount of silver. While the quarter typically contained 90% silver, the 1965 coin was made from a mix of 40% silver and copper. This change caused some initial confusion, and the quarters from this year are often mistaken for earlier silver coins. However, it's not just the silver content that makes some of these 1965 Washington quarters valuable. There are specific varieties of the coin that were produced under unusual circumstances. For example, a few 1965 Washington quarters were accidentally minted with a special error, a type of misstrike or minting flaw. These coins are extremely rare, and it's these errors that make certain 1965 quarters highly sought after by collectors. One of the most famous varieties of the 1965 Washington quarter features a noticeable DDO, double die obverse, error. This means that the coin was struck twice, creating a doubling effect on the design, particularly around Washington's eye, his hair, and the lettering. This double striking is a fascinating feature, and it's one of the reasons collectors are so eager to find these quarters. In fact, these rare pieces can fetch significant sums at auction, as coin enthusiasts are willing to pay top dollar for coins that have such a historical and aesthetic value. In addition to the DDO error, there are also a few other rarities in the 1965 Washington quarter series. Some are known for being particularly well preserved, having avoided the wear and tear that most coins undergo with time. Coins that have been carefully stored or never circulated can be incredibly valuable, especially if they maintain their original luster and details. This is why condition matters so much when determining the worth of a coin. A 1965 Washington quarter in mint condition, free of scratches, nicks, or discoloration, will always be worth more than one that has seen heavy circulation. For many collectors, the thrill of searching for these rare quarters is what drives the excitement. Whether they're looking through rolls of old quarters or bidding at auctions, the prospect of finding a 1965 Washington quarter in exceptional condition or with a valuable error is something that has many numismatists on the edge of their seats. Now, you might be wondering, how much is a 1965 Washington quarter actually worth? Well, the answer can vary quite a bit depending on the specific coin and its condition. A regular 1965 quarter that hasn't been affected by any minting errors and is in average condition is typically worth just a few dollars. This is because, despite the silver content, it's still relatively common. However, when it comes to rare error varieties like the DDO or coins in pristine condition, the value can skyrocket. For instance, in recent years, a 1965 Washington quarter with a notable DDO error in excellent condition sold for an impressive price. This coin fetched a staggering price of $135,000. Yes, that's right, $135,000. So, if you have a 1965 Washington quarter in your possession, it might be worth checking for any errors or looking into its condition. You never know, you might be holding on to a rare gem that could make you quite a bit of money. In the world of coin collecting, it's always a good idea to keep an eye out for those little details, because sometimes, it's the smallest error or the rarest condition that turns a simple coin into a fortune. Keep an eye on your pocket change, as you never know when you might find a coin that could be worth more than just its face value. Thank you for watching. We hope this video has helped you learn more about the fascinating world of 1965 Washington quarters and their hidden value. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more coin-related content. Top 2. The United States has always produced coins that carry deep historical significance and a sense of national pride. Among these, the Washington quarter has been one of the most beloved and collected coins since its introduction in 1932. Today, we're going to take a close look at one specific year of the Washington quarter that has sparked the interest of collectors and investors alike, the 1979 Washington quarter. If you've ever come across a 1979 quarter, or you've been curious about what makes this year so special, stick around. The story behind this coin might just surprise you, and the value it holds could be more than you imagine. The Washington quarter, featuring George Washington's portrait on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse, has been a staple of U.S. currency for decades. The design itself is iconic, a reminder of America's first president and the country's enduring values. However, when we talk about the 1979 version, things get even more intriguing. In 1979, the U.S. Mint made several changes to the way coins were being produced. There was a growing concern over the availability of certain metals, and the demand for quarters increased, making it necessary to increase production. During this time, there were also changes to how coins were struck, and, unfortunately, this led to some interesting issues when it came to the 1979 Washington quarter. While most people might think of the 1979 quarter as just another regular piece of currency, collectors know that it's anything but ordinary. One of the most important aspects that make the 1979 Washington quarter interesting is its unique characteristics. The minting process, along with slight variations in production techniques, resulted in some fascinating errors. These errors, or misprints, are a big part of why certain 1979 quarters are so highly prized by numismatists. For example, one of the most sought-after varieties of the 1979 Washington quarter is the one with a double die obverse. This is where the coin's design was struck twice, causing the details on the obverse to appear doubled. If you carefully examine the coin, you can see a noticeable doubling of the lettering and even the lines of Washington's hair. This double striking is a rare occurrence that can significantly increase the coin's value, but the errors don't stop there. Another key factor in determining the value of the 1979 quarter is its condition. Coin collectors place immense importance on the quality of a coin, and for good reason. A coin in pristine condition, one that has never been in circulation or has been well preserved, will always fetch a much higher price than one that's been worn down by time. The 1979 quarter is no exception. A coin that retains its sharp details, clear features, and little to no visible wear can be extremely valuable. And when a coin is in excellent condition and features an error, the value increases exponentially. In addition to errors and condition, there's also the factor of rarity. While the 1979 Washington quarter was minted in high numbers, certain variations are rarer than others. Some of the lesser-known versions were only produced in limited batches or under unusual circumstances. These coins can become highly sought after in the numismatic market, leading to significant price jumps for rare specimens. The excitement surrounding the 1979 Washington quarter is not just about finding one, it's about finding the right one. Many coin collectors make it a point to search through rolls of quarters or attend coin shows in hopes of stumbling upon a hidden treasure from 1979. The thrill of discovering a rare, high-quality 1979 quarter, especially one with a double die error or in mint condition, is what keeps collectors coming back for more. So, how much can a 1979 Washington quarter actually be worth? You might think that a coin from the late 70s wouldn't be all that valuable, but when it comes to rare varieties, the numbers can be staggering. A standard 1979 quarter with no errors and in average condition is worth just a few dollars, maybe slightly more depending on its quality. But when we're talking about coins with notable errors, such as the double die obverse, or those that are in pristine, uncirculated condition, the value skyrockets. In fact, one such 1979 Washington quarter, known for its exceptional condition and error features, has sold for a jaw-dropping price of $85,000. That's right, $85,000, so, if you happen to come across a 1979 Washington quarter, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. You might just have a rare treasure in your hands, one that could bring you a fortune. As always, the key to unlocking a coin's value lies in its condition, its rarity, and, of course, its unique qualities. Thank you for watching. We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the world of 1979 Washington quarters. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to hit the like button, share with your fellow coin collectors, and subscribe for more fascinating insights into the world of numismatics. Top 3. The world of coin collecting is filled with hidden treasures, rare finds, and pieces of history that can often be worth far more than their face value. One coin that may surprise you with its value is the 1991 Washington quarter. At first glance, the 1991 Washington quarter may seem like a typical coin that was minted for circulation during that year, but for serious collectors, this particular coin holds special significance. Today, we're going to take a closer look at the 1991 Washington quarter, explore why it's so valuable, and reveal how much a rare, high-quality example of this coin can be worth. First, let's talk about the 1991 Washington quarter in its simplest form. The Washington quarter, which has been in circulation since 1932, features George Washington's portrait on the obverse, front, and an eagle on the reverse, back. This coin, like all quarters produced in the late 20th century, was made using a copper-nickel-clad composition, which means it doesn't contain any silver, unlike earlier versions of the Washington quarter. The 1991 quarter was part of a regular minting run, and the design had remained relatively unchanged over the years. So, what makes this particular year so interesting to collectors? While the 1991 Washington quarter may not stand out as much as coins from other years with notable design changes or historical events, its value lies in certain unique characteristics and rare varieties that have surfaced over time. Just like with any other coin, the value of a 1991 Washington quarter is primarily determined by its condition, rarity, and potential errors that may have occurred during its minting process. The most important factor in determining the value of a 1991 quarter, like with any other coin, is its condition. Coins that have been well preserved or remain uncirculated tend to be worth more. A coin that has been kept in pristine condition, with no visible wear, scratches, or discoloration, can fetch a much higher price than one that's been through years of circulation. For example, a 1991 Washington quarter in mint condition could be worth several times its face value to a collector who's looking to add a high-quality piece to their collection. However, it's not just about condition. The 1991 quarter, like many other coins, also carries the potential for rare errors that make certain examples extremely valuable. Error coins are always in high demand among collectors, as they are rare and often tell a fascinating story about the minting process. In the case of the 1991 Washington quarter, there are a few varieties that have garnered significant attention due to errors or unusual minting characteristics. One of the most notable types of error that can make a 1991 Washington quarter stand out is the double die. A double die occurs when a coin is struck twice by the die, causing parts of the design, such as the lettering or the image of Washington's portrait, to appear doubled. This error can be subtle or more pronounced, but regardless of its intensity, a 1991 quarter with a double die is a much sought-after find. Collectors will pay top dollar for coins that feature this kind of minting anomaly because they are both rare and aesthetically interesting. In addition to double die errors, some 1991 Washington quarters were struck with misalignments, off-center strikes, or even minor die cracks. These imperfections might not seem like much at first, but to the right collector, they represent rare opportunities to own a coin with unique features. Coins with these kinds of minting errors are often considered more valuable than standard versions of the same year because they are one of a kind, and every small flaw tells its own story of how the coin was made. So, if you come across a 1991 Washington quarter, it's definitely worth checking to see if it has any of these rare features. While the majority of 1991 quarters will likely be worth only their face value, those with exceptional condition or error features can command a far higher price on the collector's market. The question you're probably asking is, how much is a 1991 Washington quarter worth? The answer depends on several factors, including its condition, any errors it may feature, and its rarity in the marketplace. While a typical 1991 quarter with no errors and in average condition may only be worth a few dollars, coins that have been preserved in excellent condition or feature significant errors can fetch astronomical sums at auctions or through private sales. One of the most incredible recent sales of a 1991 Washington quarter saw a rare example, in pristine condition with a notable error, sell for an astounding sum. The coin, with its unique characteristics and exceptional quality, was purchased for the incredible price of $55,000. That's right, $55,000 for a 1991 Washington quarter. Finding such a valuable coin may seem like a long shot, but the thrill of discovering a rare treasure is exactly what makes coin collecting so exciting. Whether you're just starting out or you're an experienced collector, the world of numismatics is filled with surprises and opportunities to find valuable pieces that can change your collection forever. If you happen to stumble upon a 1991 Washington quarter in your change, take a moment to inspect it closely. You might just be holding on to a rare gem that could turn out to be worth a lot more than you expected. With so many collectors actively searching for these types of rare coins, you never know when a seemingly ordinary coin might turn into a substantial payday. Thank you for watching. We hope this video has given you some valuable insights into the world of the 1991 Washington quarter. If you enjoyed learning about this coin and want to know more about other rare and valuable coins, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You never know, your next treasure hunt could lead to a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. Top 4. The world of coin collecting is filled with hidden gems and surprising discoveries, and today, we're going to talk about one such coin, the 1995 Washington quarter. At first glance, the 1995 Washington quarter might seem like just another ordinary piece of currency, but as any seasoned collector will tell you, even the most seemingly simple coins can hide tremendous value. Whether you're an experienced numismatist or a casual collector, understanding the worth of a coin like the 1995 Washington quarter can be both exciting and rewarding. The Washington quarter has been one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history, with its familiar design featuring George Washington's portrait on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. The coin was first introduced in 1932 to celebrate Washington's 200th birthday, and it has continued to be a staple in U.S. currency ever since. By 1995, the design had remained largely unchanged, and the coin continued to be minted with a copper-nickel-clad composition, which means it didn't contain any silver, unlike older versions of the quarter. While the 1995 Washington quarter was produced in high numbers and circulated widely, there are several factors that set certain 1995 quarters apart from the rest, making them valuable collector's items. If you've come across a 1995 quarter in your change, you might want to take a closer look, as there could be something special about it. One of the first things that coin collectors look for when evaluating a 1995 Washington quarter is its condition. As with any collectible, the quality of the coin plays a significant role in determining its value. A coin that has been well preserved, free from scratches, discoloration, or signs of heavy wear, is far more valuable than one that has been in circulation for years. For example, a 1995 quarter that has been kept in pristine condition, what collectors refer to as mint state or uncirculated, can be worth much more than its face value. These coins are in high demand because they represent the ideal example of what the coin was like when it was first struck by the U.S. Mint, but condition alone isn't the only factor that can make a 1995 Washington quarter worth more money. There are also rare varieties and errors that have been discovered over the years, which can make certain 1995 quarters extremely valuable to collectors. One of the most exciting things about coin collecting is the potential to find a coin with a unique error or misprint, and the 1995 Washington quarter is no exception. Some 1995 quarters have been found with striking errors, things like off-center strikes, die cracks, or even the rare, double die, variety. A double die occurs when a coin is struck twice by the die, causing part of the design to appear doubled. For example, the letters or features of George Washington's portrait may appear blurry or doubled because the die wasn't perfectly aligned. These errors are highly prized by collectors because they are rare and add a unique twist to an otherwise standard coin. Another common error found in the 1995 Washington quarter is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned in the press, causing part of the design to be cut off or shifted to one side. While these errors might seem small, they can significantly increase the value of the coin. especially if they're found in mint or near mint condition. Now, you might be wondering, how much could a 1995 Washington quarter actually be worth? The value of a typical 1995 quarter in good condition is relatively modest. It might only be worth a few dollars above its face value. However, when you start talking about rare varieties or error coins, the value can jump dramatically. For instance, a 1995 Washington quarter with a rare error, such as a double die or an off-center strike, can fetch a much higher price, especially if it's in excellent condition. In fact, there's been a notable example of a 1995 Washington quarter with an error that sold for a staggering sum. A high-quality coin with a significant error recently sold for the impressive amount of $45,000. Yes, $45,000. This is a great reminder that even seemingly ordinary coins can be hiding something extraordinary. Whether you're looking through rolls of quarters, attending a coin show, or simply inspecting your pocket change, you could very well come across a rare variety or error coin that could be worth far more than you ever imagined. And the best part? These discoveries aren't just limited to seasoned collectors. With some knowledge and a bit of luck, anyone can find a coin that might turn into a small fortune. When it comes to coin collecting, the excitement is in the hunt. While a typical 1995 Washington quarter may not seem like much, the possibility of finding a rare example with an error or minting flaw makes every coin you come across worth a closer look. Whether you're just starting out in the hobby or you've been collecting for years, it's always a thrill to stumble upon a coin that turns out to be a hidden treasure. In the world of numismatics, it's not just about owning a piece of history, it's about finding that one special coin that stands out from the rest. If you happen to find a 1995 Washington quarter that's in great condition or has a unique error, you could be holding a rare gem that could make you a lot of money. Thank you for tuning in. We hope this video has given you some insight into the 1995 Washington quarter and the world of coin collecting. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content about rare coins and how to spot those hidden treasures. Happy collecting, and who knows, you might just find your next big discovery in your pocket change. Top 5. Today, we're going to take a deeper look at the 1988 Washington quarter, its history, what makes it special, and why it's so highly prized by numismatists. You might be surprised at just how valuable this coin can be. First, let's talk about the 1988 Washington quarter in its most basic form. The Washington quarter, featuring George Washington's iconic portrait on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse, was first introduced in 1932. Since then, it's become one of the most widely circulated coins in the United States. The 1988 edition of the quarter, minted as part of a long-running series, might seem unremarkable at first glance. After all, it doesn't carry any major changes in design or composition, nor does it come from a year marked by significant historical events. However, as any seasoned collector will tell you, the value of a coin often lies not in its year or design, but in the unique features and rarities that set certain coins apart from the rest. In 1988, the Washington quarter was still made from a copper-nickel-clad composition, meaning it didn't contain any silver like older versions of the coin. It was produced in high numbers, which means that finding a 1988 quarter in regular circulation wouldn't be too difficult. So why is this coin so significant? The truth lies in the fact that a few key factors can make certain 1988 Washington quarters incredibly valuable to collectors. The first and most important factor is condition. Just like any other collectible, the value of a coin is heavily influenced by its condition. A 1988 Washington quarter in mint or near mint condition is far more valuable than one that's been worn down through years of circulation. Coins that have been handled, scratched, or exposed to the elements lose much of their original charm, which makes them less desirable to collectors. On the other hand, coins that have been well preserved or never circulated at all are highly sought after. These pristine examples of the 1988 Washington quarter are often referred to as uncirculated coins, and they can fetch a premium price in the marketplace. But what really adds to the excitement around the 1988 Washington quarter is the possibility of finding rare varieties or errors. While the vast majority of 1988 quarters were struck perfectly according to the standard minting process, there were a few instances where errors occurred during production. For example, some coins were struck with double dies, creating a slight doubling effect on the design. This means that parts of the coin, such as the lettering or the image of Washington, may appear blurry or offset because the coin was struck twice in the same spot. These types of errors are highly valued by collectors, as they are relatively rare and can add significant interest to an otherwise standard coin. Additionally, certain 1988 quarters were struck with misalignments, off-center strikes, or other minting flaws that add to their uniqueness. These flaws are typically seen as interesting curiosities, which is exactly why coin collectors often seek them out. A 1988 Washington quarter with an unusual error could very well be worth much more than its face value, depending on the rarity and extent of the flaw. That if you happen to be fortunate enough to find one of these rare varieties or error coins, you could have a real treasure on your hands. Some of these coins have sold at auction for far more than you might expect for a coin minted in the late 1980s. In fact, a particularly rare and pristine 1988 Washington quarter, featuring an error or minting anomaly, has been known to sell for an incredible price. One such example fetched a staggering sum of $65,000. So, how do you know if the 1988 Washington quarter you have is worth this much? The key is to pay close attention to the details. Start by examining the coin's condition. Coins that have been well preserved, with no visible wear, scratches, or discoloration, are always more valuable. Then, take a close look for any signs of errors or minting irregularities. Whether it's a double die, a misalignment, or a rare off-center strike, these mistakes can transform a simple quarter into a high-value collector's item. While the 1988 Washington quarter might not immediately stand out to the average person, for coin enthusiasts, it holds a special place. The thrill of searching for these rare pieces, whether at a coin shop, a show, or even in your pocket change, is what keeps collectors coming back for more. And if you happen to find that perfect 1988 quarter, with the right combination of pristine condition and an error, you could be holding onto a coin worth far more than just its face value. In the end, the world of numismatics is all about the search for those hidden gems, and the 1988 Washington quarter is a perfect example of how something that seems ordinary can be extraordinary. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting to dip your toes into the world of coin collecting, it's always worth keeping an eye out for those rare finds that can make a big difference. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1988 Washington quarter and the fascinating world of coin collecting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Who knows, maybe your next treasure hunt will lead you to a rare coin worth more than you ever imagined.